This rack is absolutely great. Securely holds the gun in place. I can probably get 2 or 3 other guns in here. It has a nice, soft, suede-like finish that's not going to braid or be rough on my gun, and it's really secure. Because I have these 2 HYSKORE pistol racks mounted with bungee cords, as you can see here, this can take all the bouncy and abuse that you typically get when you're riding a four-wheeler. And I set this bungee so it doesn't have too much tension, enough to hold the gun, but not so much that it's going to mess up the spacing between the barrel and the stock. Just about every four-wheeler has some kind of a rack that goes on the front. And this particular one is a CF Moto 600, and it's got a really nice plastic rack. The rack is sturdy, it's rock solid, and is very well mounted right from the factory. The only question I have is how I'm going to mount my gun rack to this particular front rack here. Most four-wheeler racks are made from tubular steel that's welded and then mounted to the four-wheeler. Your typical gun rack that goes on a four-wheeler rack is made from steel, and it's probably some kind of V-notch arrangement with rubber or something and fins on the inside of it, and then some kind of a Mickey Mouse clamp that's used to secure it to the tubular steel of the rack. You've probably used several of these different types of gun mounts on your four-wheeler over the years, and you would probably agree with the one criticism that I have of them, and that's that the clamp tends to be something that does not firmly grip the tubular steel, and then it leans over out of the way and it becomes rather problematic. After giving a lot of thought to what would be absolutely ideal for mounting rifles, shotguns, fishing rods, anything of that nature, long-handled garden tools, etc., to the rack of my four-wheeler, I came up with a really neat idea. I went out and purchased 2 of these HYSKORE 6-gun pistol racks. It's their part number 30277, and it's made from this really nice suede-like finish EVA foam. It's semi-rigid, and as a pistol rack it has compartments for 6 pistols, but that's not how we're going to use it here. Let me show you exactly what I've done and how it works and why it's a great idea. I took the 2 of these racks like this, and I positioned them on top of the deck here so they're opposed with the open end facing out. Now I took a heavy-duty bungee cord, hooked it into the one hole there, ran it all the way across through the same slot in the other rack, and fixed it into the corresponding hole on the other side. Both these things positioned so they're nice and solid there. I don't like exactly where this is, so I'm going to reposition it so it goes to the 3rd slot, and also this one so it goes to the 3rd slot, and now we have basically our rack. The only thing we may have to do is adjust the position between them to accommodate the length of the gun that we're going to put in here. Now we're going to take 2 of the bungee cords, we feed them underneath the rack like this, just for the purposes of example here, while we're just riding around without a gun in place. We can just hook these guys together like this until we're ready to mount the gun in there. Now we're going to fit our gun into the rack, and we're going to put them right here in the 3rd slot in each one. And since this rack is nice and flexible but still firm, the gun is solidly cradled in the rack. Now when we want to secure our gun, we just loosen this guy up here a little bit, and we put it over the barrel of the gun like this, a little tug, and connect it to the other hook. We do a similar exercise with the other one. Put it right here, put it right over the action, and then we snug that up, adjust our bungees, and here we are. Rock solid, stable, but well protected and also well insulated from any kind of shock or impact. And one thing's for absolute certain, no matter what you hit, as long as these bungees hold, your gun is not going to bounce out of the rack. Because the gun is secured and cushioned against impact like this, Another important thing is that you're not going to lose your zero on your scope. Although this is not a regular commercial off-the-shelf type of rack that you can buy, at the end of the day you're going to find that this is probably going to be the best gun rack you've ever mounted on a four-wheeler.